What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pro Gamer Manager. In the last part, we obviously got some points. We just kept on doing what we do, which is just grinding away at the weapons and seeing where we could go from there. So, I did read some of the comments, and I did see a lot of good comments, a lot of people kind of having some good discussions, which is always good to hear and to see. I guess not really hear, because, you know, how do you hear a comment that's written, right? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I did see that I was asked a question, what would I change and what would I want to see out of Pro Gamer Manager 2? Now, this is a kind of a tough question for me, in my opinion, because I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if it was this game improved upon. I would not. Honestly, I'd be extremely happy if they just took this as the groundwork and built upon that. I'd be ecstatic. I think that their new one, the Firefight Career, isn't awful. You know, they could try and work with that, but I think a lot of what they did wrong with that one is they just focused too much on the visuals and on the actual fight itself. I don't think it's bad to kind of focus a bit on the actual match. It's not too bad, but you have to make, if you're gonna require the matches to take a larger amount of time, right? Because in this right here, playing one match takes very little time, right? But if you're going to require the match to take a larger amount of time, you need to make it worth more. And because obviously we're not all sitting down here to try and play as if we were, you know, it's like, I don't want to spend hours I don't want to spend an hour playing like 3 matches. Like, it takes way too much time. You don't get anywhere. You know, you're talking, you know, 20 hours into the game and you're still barely anywhere because it just takes way too long. I think if I wanted to see something out of Pro Gamer Manager 2, I want to see depth, right? I want to feel as if when I'm playing this game, you know, 15, 20 hours in, I still have new things to do, right? I feel like I still have new things to reach for and new things to work toward. I don't have that now, right? I don't have that at this point in time. We could look to get into a tournament, maybe. You know, there isn't that. I don't have that thing I could aim to get to right now. You know, which I do think kind of hurts it, right? Because in this game, you know, we've played it and gone through it a couple of times already. We know exactly what you got to do. Now, I haven't played all that much of the Firefight Career, so it could be that there's a whole lot of depth in it that I haven't seen. But from what I've seen, I can't imagine there's all that much depth in it, because the game seems to be like you play a couple of matches and that's that. Like, there's supposed to be like a team-based thing and where you can play in leagues and stuff like that as a team, but there's just, it feels way too hard to get to that point. And I have thought about potentially going in and playing a playthrough with that game, you know, just to kind of say I've at least gone through the game, right? Because I can't say that as of right now. You know, I've played like an hour of it, if even that, right? I don't even know if I've played an entire hour of that game. But again, in Pro Gamer Manager 2, that's my biggest concern, right? I love the concept, and honestly, it was just announced Wazuka? Gaming mouse, find it on market today. Oh, okay. It seems a little off, but whatever. But yeah, so I'm not really picky on it because I just like the general concept behind the game. I think that it's really cool. I think it's kind of almost first of its kind, like actually playing as a manager and stuff like that. But you know, it had a lot of potential and failed. And if I could see anything for Pro Gamer Manager 2, it would be, I want to see the game continue to be interesting for more than, 5 hours, right? Because I'd say in this game, it's probably, 5 hours or so, and then you've kind of done everything. If even that, it might be more like 4 right now. But obviously, this feels very much like an incomplete game, which is, a big shame behind it, but yeah, I'd just like to see that, 15, 20 hours into the game, you still have a couple of things that are interesting. Even 10 hours into the game, let me feel like I still got stuff to strive for. Let me feel like I still got things, and that doesn't necessarily mean I want to see the game drag, right? I don't want to feel like I gotta grind, like in the Firefight Career, where I feel like I have each one of my matches takes, 10 minutes. Or between 5 and 10 minutes. I don't want that. I don't want to feel like it takes, 5 hours to get barely anywhere, just so you can say, well, our game, 10 hours in still has a lot of things to strive for. Well, no, it doesn't. It's just you've extended and kind of filled it with fake content, right? You've just stretched your content out, and I don't want to see the same stuff. I want to feel like, I've got around each corner, I got new obstacles to try and work with my team, right? I want to feel more involved in my team. I want to feel like I gotta work with each individual member of my team. I want to feel like I actually have to, Johnny over here, my sniper or whatever. I have to feel like he's got some problems, right? I want it to feel like I actually have to work towards getting all my players into a team house. There is real, sponsor talks. We're not just, bam, exploding into an actual team. I want to feel like there is a bit of a struggle in there. That, I have to actually, fight and be a little bit strategic in the things that I do. Not feel like, oh, I'm going to build a website and, if I just play it normally within a month, I'm going to make a ton of money. That's not what I want. I don't want to feel like, I can just, bam, immediately get a ton of money. I want to feel like I actually have to work for it. I have to pay close attention to all my players. This guy and this guy, maybe they're not getting along so much. Maybe it leads to one of them threatening to leave, if I don't deal with the other guy or whatever. Like, real world situations, right? I want to, that's a huge thing. I want to feel like there's actually, some drama almost, right? Because it adds an extra little depth to it that I have to be able to focus on and worry about, right? It's not just do an action next turn, do an action next turn, do an action next turn, right? I that gets way too repetitive, and I get it. It's like a sim style tycoon kind of game. It's supposed to be a little bit repetitive. That's the way it goes. That's the whole point of the game, right? But I do want to feel, if I could have something, that there is a little bit of, a little bit of something else in there, right? There's some depth. I think that's the best way to put it. I want more involvement and more options in the game. So yeah, you and a couple friends participated in a one-on-one FPS tournament. Your learning curve has improved a bit. Well, isn't that just fancy? I have a ton of EP, which I haven't done anything with this. Communication is important. Always got to be communicating. Positioning, it's pretty important. So yeah, hopefully you guys did like that little discussion about it. You know, when it was commented, it did take me a minute. I didn't take a whole lot of time, obviously you can tell, to kind of think about it. But it is something that I hadn't really thought about a whole lot, right? What is it that I want out of the new game? I want it to be done right. I want it to be done right, and I want it to be finished, right? I want it to be seen through. I want them to listen to us and do what we ask for and what we suggest. Not listen to us and do some other stuff that maybe they think we'll like. Listen to what we're saying, because we do, you know, us in the community, we have good ideas, and we do kind of know a little bit of what we think would be cool. You know, don't do it and then just say, oh, okay, we're gonna definitely do that, and then, you know, come up with some stuff that isn't what we really would like to see. So that's gonna be kind of that. So hopefully you guys like that little discussion there. We've almost maxed out on mastery of this weapon, which is awesome, because we'll at least have a second sniper rifle to go for, which will help out a ton in these matches. Wow, really? We didn't get a single point that entire... Usually when it's going around, you get like 1 or 2 orbs, or like, you know, a couple of orbs, but we didn't get any on that entire like go around, which is kind of surprising. I would have thought we would have gotten at least some. But the money's racking in. We all know how to do this, right? At this point in time, we've gotten pretty good at kind of min-maxing it and doing it the best way to come out with a good outcome. You know, we're up to 14,000. We're almost up to 1,000 fans. Our EP is super high. The big thing is keeping this EP really high. That's really, really important, right? Because once you get into career mode, that EP carries, or not career mode, manager mode, that EP carries over. So then you can use that to just kind of jumpstart your team and get things like the website already set up and all that kind of stuff, so that you can just kind of jump right into it and you're already making a pretty good income. You know, you're already making a income, right? Because your fans will carry over too. So, you know, if you get a large amount of fans and you start to get like the website and the merch and all that kind of stuff set up, bam, right away you're making probably enough money to be able to look for, and then all the money that you just kind of have on hand that you carry over, you can just immediately use towards maybe picking up some big name players, you know, so that you're not dealing with, you know, bronze level players. Maybe you're able to get some like, you know, gold level players or platinum level players, you know, right off the bat. You know, that'll be able to actually, you know, make your team competitive all the way up to, like, you know, Esports League 1, right? Already get some like Esports League 1 players in your lineup, so that, you know, when you're dealing with Esports League 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and all those, you're just kind of able to breeze through them and get first places all the way through, you know. And then obviously I don't think we'll probably have too much trouble in manager mode. I find manager mode to be pretty easy. Really, the game isn't hard at all in either one of the modes, right? Whether it be the manager mode or the career mode, it's not hard, right? Manager mode can be a little bit difficult if you don't pay attention to the money you're spending and you go bankrupt. That can suck. But really, it's pretty straightforward to be like, well, I obviously can or cannot afford this, right? You shouldn't like push it too much, you know, because it's not really worth it. You can get Bronze League players, like we've seen it. You can start with basic Bronze League players and go all the way through till the end and do really, really well, you know, and they'll be better than like any of the other players. That's not that difficult, and it's not impossible. So you shouldn't feel like you have to go and pick up really, really, really good players right away, because you don't have to. But obviously, for us, we're probably going to, because we're going to hopefully be one of them, which will give us a ton of, starting stuff. We're going to be really, really good right off the bat. And then, we only have to get 4 players, and, if we can get some really good ones around it, we're just pretty much going to be getting first places pretty regularly, which is awesome. But that's going to do it for the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have a comment, question, or concern, or anything else you want me to talk about in the next part, leave it down below in the comments section, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.